and we are back, of course, again with another exciting episode of What Up Doe.
What Up Doe?
As always, I am Steve Solano.
I'm Brendan Highland.
And for those of you who know, and for those of you who, of course, don't, we sort of use What Up Doe as a platform to discuss what's getting our goat,
Grinding our gears.
and otherwise have philosophical discussion about life. Now, I have to get one thing out of the way first.
All right, speak your piece.
This week, we crossed the 200 likes on
Yeah, we
Facebook
did.
barrier.
Yeah, we
Boom.
did.
Wonderful.
Thank you to our lovely
so shout
fans.
out to the 200. I think we're up to 204 now. You guys got kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Once we hit that 200 mark, they just started pouring in.
I thought for sure
Yeah.
Jeff Poulos was gonna hold out until
Yeah.
he could be 200, but he hit it so that he would be 198.
He did it. He was good though. So
Yeah.
Jeff, shout out to Jeff. Know your role.
Yeah, you better know his
he
role.
better know his role. Anyway,
Better check yourself.
today, I wanted to talk about something that
Gets your goat, grinds your gears.
it gets well, obviously.
All right.
Obviously.
Well, let's hear it.
But here's what it is. And I just know from personal friends of mine, I'm gonna get a lot of backlash from this. But you know what?
You're
Even though
willing
the
to take
public
it?
doesn't like it, I'm willing
You're
to
willing
take
to
it.
take the plunge?
Here's what we're gonna do.
All right, break it
Okay?
down.
I have this problem with what I consider misplaced 90s nostalgia.
Okay.
Steve, what do you mean by misplaced 90s nostalgia?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay, here's what I mean. People who think just because they were born in the decade of
the
90
90s.
to 2000, they can be nostalgic about things that happened in the 90s. Here's the problem with it. Most of the good things that happened when you were an infant,
That's
or you were
fair.
a child.
That's fair.
And I have a couple examples.
All right.
I brought them with me.
Oh, wow.
I brought
Wow.
I came
Came
prepared.
real prepared today.
All right. Let me just get something out
Not
of the way
messing
first.
around.
Let me get something out of the way first.
Yeah?
A lot of people like the cartoon Doug, right?
Yeah.
You know, Doug Funny,
Nobody's
Patty
got beef with
Mayonnaise,
Doug.
you know, all right?
Skeeter, the blue guy with the big
Quail
nose.
Man,
Yeah.
Okay.
And
I'm
Quail
all for
Dog.
it. And Quail Dog.
AKA
I'm all for
Pork
it.
Chop.
Great. It was a great cartoon. Here's the problem with saying that you were born in the 90s and Doug is a 90s cartoon. The original run of Doug, 1991 to 1994.
Okay.
Okay, so at most, if you were born in 1990, you were 4 years old.
Okay.
How much stuff do you remember when you were 4 years old?
But here's where my beef with what you're saying comes into play.
Okay.
All the reruns of that show were in the 90s. Fair?
Okay.
And so kids grow up with that even if it's not the original run.
All right, I'll give you the reruns. However, there are reruns of Leave It to Beaver.
That's fair.
There are reruns of
But
Happy Days.
But that's not the same.
Okay,
You know that's not the same.
All right, let me just give you. I just have some other ones. All right?
Yeah?
People say, "Oh, I was born in the '90s. Rocket Power was such a great '90s cartoon."
Yeah.
Rocket Power. The original run of Rocket Power was August 1999 to August of 2002.
Yeah. But they were so born in the 90s. I've never heard anybody say that Rocket Power was a great 90s
I
cartoon.
think people, all right.
I've
well,
heard people
okay.
like that are our age be like, well, Rocket Power when I was growing up, that was my jam. And
All
technically,
right, and Rocket Power was my jam.
and
I
it
don't
was
think
mine too.
Yeah,
but
all right.
and
I was definitely
you're looking
twisted.
at it, and
Yeah.
that's like 7 years old to
right.
what? 10 years old for us. For
Here's
me,
one
90
that's
92.
gonna cut. This one's gonna cut deep. Saved by the Bell. All
I
right?
don't think it cuts as deep as you might think.
Saved by the Bell. Here's the thing. I used to watch Saved by the Bell every morning, Saturdays, right? Saturday morning before.
I thought you were gonna go weekday
actually,
before school.
No, weekday before school.
Yeah.
Actually, that's when I used to watch it. Okay, I love Saved by the Bell. I know every episode, seen the entire series.
Yeah.
Right? Must have been a great thing in my childhood. Here's
Yeah.
the problem. Original run of Saved by the Bell, 1989
Okay.
to 1993.
That's
you know
fair.
how old I was in 1993?
You weren't
I was
one.
maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I
Okay,
was one.
fair. But again, like all the reruns of that show were in the 90s. So people our age like grew
Okay.
up watching that show.
Okay, all right.
Like-
I'm just saying you weren't there. You weren't.
Okay.
Like if you were born in '85,
I got you. That's fair.
I'm giving it to you. You're cool.
Right.
I'm talking about people who were born in like '89. You can kind of get away with some. You can get away with more than
The
others.
real prime, I feel like, is like 87, 86, 87.
Yeah,
you got it
exactly.
made.
Oh man, you were born in the. That's the glory days.
Yeah.
Anyway, here's another one. Oh, I do have some notable exceptions though. Okay.
All right, let's hear
Notable
'em.
exceptions. Here's
See
a
if, I,
great
see if
show.
I agree with these.
And a sequel to this show is coming up very soon, actually.
Boy Meets World.
1993-2000.
Okay,
Quintessential
but that's-
90s masterpiece.
That is phenomenal television.
Oh,
at
it's
it-
wonderful.
it's
We grew up with Corey Matthews and, you know,
yeah.
Topanga.
Like
I was
wanted,
riveted.
I aspired to be Sean Hunter.
Oh, me too. I
Is
even
that
copied
really
his haircut
like?
for a little
Should I
bit, yeah.
have aspired to that? No.
No.
Did I do it? Yeah. Like
Hey, he made out all right.
that
made
was
it all right.
probably the best possibly most underrated by the public media
Oh,
show in the last 25 years.
I think it's coming into sort of a rebirth, a renaissance, if you will, because I think people are starting to, especially since the sequel's coming up. But I think people are starting to recognize how good of a show it was. Like, you turn it on, you can't turn it off.
My brother showed me a link
Yeah.
to all the Boy Meets World episodes. I was so geeked about that.
Oh
Woo!
my gosh, that sounds great.
It was
now,
spectacular.
This is where TV shows are one thing to people, but music is another thing.
Okay.
Okay? And music, this is where I know some friends at home, if they see this, I'm going to come under some heavy fire for this. I'm going to have to get
some
a foxhole.
scrutiny.
Now, everyone knows the band called Nirvana, okay?
Yeah.
They are actually going through a new kind of rebirth with Paul McCartney lead singing.
A renaissance, if you will.
A renaissance, if you will.
Okay.
Nirvana, great band. Started grunge. I mean, one of the greatest of all time. I'm not taking anything away from them. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. You were born in 1992, and Nirvana's your favorite band. Nirvana's Nevermind, the definitive Nirvana album.
Okay.
What year was it released?
I don't know.
1991.
Okay. Again,
You weren't there for the release.
Okay.
You were zero.
Do you wonder?
You weren't even
You
zero.
love Bruce Springsteen.
I do.
Were you
But
born?
no, but wait.
It's the same thing,
it's so
dude.
different. No, but I don't claim him to be like a musician of my time. Except he did come out with new albums. He's come out actually in 2000. He's come out with 6 new albums.
Okay, and that's fair.
Yeah.
But is that like?
No, that's not the de facto definitive Bruce Springsteen. No, I'm just saying. I
don't have, because like my friends at home
Yeah.
and my friends here like don't really listen to Nirvana. So my friends are all about like
That's offensive.
Blink.
Oh,
Third Eye Blind.
That's funny. I was
all
gonna
that,
get to, I was actually going to get to Blink.
You want to go to hip hop? It's like
I was
Nelly.
going to get to Blink 182. Here's the problem with Blink 182. It's not a 90s band. Blink 182 is not a 90s band. Enema of the State came out in 1999.
Okay, that's in the 90s.
Oh, come on.
But I think that
June
I
of
think that
99.
you're like misplacing kids that are. I think what kids mean to say is this: I'm from the 90s, and the decade from, I'm gonna call it 96 to 06.
Okay.
Is pretty spectacular.
I guess I agree with you, but this is what I'm saying. I guess if you go online, you'll see a lot of this, of like people who are like very nostalgic about the 90s, and when it comes from people who were born at the same time as you and I,
right.
I think it's misplaced. I think they think they're nostalgic about the 90s, but what they're really nostalgic about is reruns and stuff that they saw. And that's not the same thing.
And it's like
it's just very close.
And they're pre-adolescent years,
yes,
which were technically
exactly.
in the 2000s.
We're in the 2000s.
But for them, I think because you associate a decade, you just said, oh, the 90s.
Right. So
understand your point.
Do I
basically what you're trying to say is this.
Yeah.
You just wish people would say, I was born in the 90s, but I messed with the 2000s.
Yes. And I think
that's what you're trying
it
to
would
say.
be more appropriate. And I think people don't want to, I think people of our generation, I don't know, it's just weird. I think people of our generation want the 90s.
I think they do too.
Yeah, something has happened in the last few years that people want the like, you know what I mean? I think we're old enough to be nostalgic. It's 20 years ago now.
I would say this.
You know, over 20 years ago.
I think that enough significant events have happened.
Yes.
Post-millennium.
Yes.
That people want to be associated with pre-millennium.
That's a very good,
Plus,
that's
I think that
very
people
true,
see the kids that are post-millennium and like younger siblings,
and
they want nothing to do with that.
Mess with it. I've seen the kids that the millennium has produced. I don't want to mess.
And
with
like they see their older cousins and like, God, you guys are cool. And then they see younger cousins and get, God, you guys suck.
Yeah.
Like I love all my cousins equally. Like I feel like this is gonna sound bad or whatever, but I really do think that that's like part of what it is.
That's true.
And
that's
like
true.
I don't know, like you hang around people that are older than you or whatever, and like you get a feel for all that stuff, and
and so
you feel like you're a part of it.
I just think that. I just know I have personal friends who like they talk about the 90s, you know, with such and it was a great time to grow up. We had a good it was before the .com bubble. It was wonderful. We rode the wave of the internet.
Right.
We were there when Al Gore invented it in 1995.
Yeah. If that's who invented it, then yeah, sure, whatever, dude.
No, he didn't. It was a joke. And we were there when the election got recounted 17 times. I mean, we were there.
Yeah.
We saw all of it. It was good.
We even saw Bill Clinton get accused of sexual relations with Monica Lewinsky.
We were there for that, and we saw OJ in the Bronco.
But okay, that's another one, and that got brought up in my class today. Our teacher was like, "Oh, like I remember where I was," and I was like, I don't remember. Like, I was 2.
Yeah, you know.
But like, that's something that everybody knows about.
I remember thinking when my mom would come home talking about the OJ trial that she was talking about orange juice, and I didn't know what that meant.
I didn't know. I had never heard of OJ in terms of orange juice until I was maybe like 10.
Okay. Well, we've got off topic. Listen, please feel free to comment on whether or not you think I'm right on the 90s thing. I just think it's just a personal thing. I think we should acknowledge the time you grew up in and be earnest and honest about it.
So,
and you're an early 2000s person. Right. That's what you are.
Know your role.
Know your role. And that's what Up Doe.
Right.
Oh my gosh. We've exhausted the topic. I love talking. We could talk about the. I mean, I could.
We go on all day.
I could be nostalgic all day. I mean, remember Tamagotchi, like Gigapets and Moon Shoes.
Dragon Ball Z.
A great show.
Classic.
Pokemon. I mean, wonderful.
The list goes on and on.
Fireball yo-yos. They were just
okay, and I would say this, like shows like Seventh Heaven.
I
don't know when that was, but I messed with it.
I think Seventh Heaven is still on the television.
Like, come on, anybody that's
a show that jumped the shark and just kept going.
That's fair. Yeah. I could agree with that.
Anyway, as always, we have exhausted the topic. We were able to kind of I think we distilled an entire decade.
Did Lion King come out in the 90s?
Oh yeah, Lion King was the first movie I saw in movie theaters. I believe it came out in 1994.
Okay.
Could be wrong.
Or 95. I think that's why people want to be associated with the 90s.
Toy Story, 1996.
Dude, Pixar was doing
first
its thing.
Computer animated movie.
Pixar was doing its thing in the 90s.
As always, I am Steve Solano.
Brendan Highland.
This has been another exciting episode of What Up Doe.
Yeah, it is.
We'll see you on the other side.
Killing it! Woo! Know your role, kids.
Know your role. We're coming for you, Pujols and Medina.
Yeah, we are.
You better check yourself.
Yeah. Check yourself before you wreck yourself.